This video aims to give you a very quick introduction to the social network sites that we're looking at today. First off, I'm going to head to academia.edu. Academia.edu and researchgate.net are actually both very similar. They're tools that enable a researcher to build a profile. Here I'm going to open up mine. You'll see on here you can contribute papers that you have authored or co-authored. You can include things like conference presentations, blog posts, as well as basic information about you. You can see here I've got my institutional affiliation, what I'm currently researching on, who I'm following, how many people follow me, and how many people have followed my page. Within Academia.edu, I also get access to analytics. This will tell me who is accessing my research and how often. I can also start a session, which gives me the option of uploading a paper I'm working on and getting peer feedback. One thing that's particularly useful about these sites is that I can search for people and papers. So if I'm trying to research something, as well as searching academic databases, I can also search academia.edu to see if there are any papers. This is a more socially curated way of getting research. For example here, I'm going to search for papers on positionality. Here you can see there are loads and loads of really useful papers, and I can download many of these. Next up, I'm going to head to researchgate.net. Researchgate.net is very similar to academia.edu. Just as I can with academia.edu, I can create a profile that includes information about me, things that I have published, as well as people that I have worked with. I can also pose questions on researchgate.net. These can link to certain topic areas that I'm following, and it also lets me ask questions as well as answer them. Here we can see a variety of questions from the people in subjects that I am following. You'll see some of them have very detailed answers from other researchers, so this is a very good way to contribute as well as gain feedback yourself. One particular tool with ResearchGate.net is a focus on the job market. So if you're coming to the end of your studies or looking for your next career move, here you'll see a variety of opportunities advertised. These should be articulated to the areas that you're interested in. Just as with academia.edu, I can search for people and papers. If I recreate the search from academia.edu here, you'll see the first view looks like there isn't anything. However, if I switch to publications, it will show me all of the papers tagged or mentioning this topic. I'm now going to head to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is often associated with job hunts and CVs, and yes, it does allow you to develop a profile that is very much like an online CV. Now, this can include your academic background as well as papers that you've published and things that you're working on. Now, this might not be useful for most researchers. However, if you're working in areas of business, LinkedIn is a very good way to make connections in industry. You may also be surprised at what groups you'll find on here. I was able to find a very useful group for the use of NVivo. If I search here, go to more and click groups, I can see there's an NVivo user group and lots of other groups of practice for people who are using this research tool. Next up, I'm going to move to the Humanities Commons. Humanities Commons is more focused than ResearchGate.net or Academia.edu. It's aimed to promote open access scholarship and interdisciplinary connections for those working in the humanities. Much like the other sites, Humanities Commons lets you develop a profile. Here I'm going to head to mine. You'll see here it includes links to other tools that you are using, as well as your ability to include your ORCID. You'll see we have a page and researcher identity on our Canvas site. It also lets you identify your academic interests, publications, projects, and memberships. Once again, this is very similar to the other websites. You'll also notice there's the power for you to join groups, societies, share your research in the core repository, and create WordPress sites. Next, I'm going to move to Grow Kudos. Kudos is a very good way for people to engage with the public for their research. Here I'm going to head to my profile. It lets you identify papers that you've authored in scholarly journals. Here's an example that I've published in New Library World. Unlike the journals, it lets you actually contribute a series of plain text language about your writing. Here you can see a plain text title, information about what the article's about, why it's important, and my perspective of it are all available here. This is only available for published works. Finally, I want to show you Figshare. Figshare is a way of you collaborating and sharing research data. You can see here I have one project, I apply categories to it, information about the data, a description, funding information, references, and can also imply embargoes, make it confidential, private, and receive a DOI. Not only can I store my own data here and make it available, I can also search the data of other people. Figshare work with a number of publishers, so if you're working on an article, you may find you have the option of using this as your repository. Hopefully this has been a useful introduction to the tools we are looking at today. The thing with most of these is that we are networking with other researchers, so this is an academic to an academic audience. This is definitely the case with academia.edu, researchgate.net, and the Humanities Commons. LinkedIn branches out to business, so there's a whole variety of different audiences there. This is very different to Twitter, where there's a variety of different users. When it comes to Kudos and Figshare, these are very different. Figshare enables you to share your data, and this is once again to a very academic audience. Kudos, however, is explicitly not academic. It provides you friendly versions of your papers that you can share more widely on Facebook and Twitter, and some initial data shows that this is a very good way to gain wider engagement. In today's discussion, we're very keen to see what you think of each of these tools and to see what you think are the most appropriate for your research.